There's a play going on, y'all. Just hear me out. There's a play. There's too much shit happening at one time. Somebody is trying to kick off martial law. Somebody is trying to lock this country down. Be careful what you ingesting. Some of this shit is paid actors. Everybody keeps telling me that it's real. This young lady was stabbed to death on this train. But the shit that was fucking with me, how come none of them women went over and helped her after the dude got off the train? Do they see that shit every day? I mean, what the fuck was that about? That's what makes me feel like those were bought and paid for actors. If he's stabbing her in the neck, I didn't see no blood until she fell on the floor. Then there's a big old puddle of blood. Everybody that was on that train did nothing. They acted like what they were, extras. I'm telling you, we're being played. It's a movie. They trying to lock down this motherfucking country. Do not buy into the motherfucking bullshit. And if she is dead, my condolences to this young lady's family. But I'm quite sure she got a first-class ticket back to Ukraine, brand new apartment, all that shit.
Eddie Griffin. Shalom. First thing and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, B'Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone and rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Noah's in the gospel, broad, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is another lesson through the spirit, and I mean, hell, even celebrities are seeing through it. This guy, Eddie Griffin, he has like a little podcast show that he go on that he teaches. Well, I won't say teach, but he gives his opinions and he have his little inflammatory statements on what he feels is happening in the world. I mean, a lot of talking points, as they all, they get from the prophets because, I mean, Eddie Griffin, now a spokesman for the people, which he's actually from Kansas City. It's kind of funny. But regardless of it, he see through the bullshit because, even though this took place like a month ago and this is out of the news, I've seen this dude to the left before. I don't know why I've seen him before, but even with the young lady to the right, allegedly she's a paid actor because I believe the brother had bought up the account. I believe it was something that took place in Ukraine and allegedly she died. She was one of the casualties, the same chick. And Esau, he runs the same playback all the time, man. All right. And the crazy part about it is that the people are so stupid to the point they just fall for the shit. They don't question it. They just like, oh my God, whatever they put in the news is fucking, it's fucking gold. And we know that you can't trust anything that this devil say, But anyway, regardless of it, I'm going to do this. Look up, and I've done this before. Boom. What is a PSYOP? And I've done this before, but we're going to visit it again. Or a psychological operation. Psychological operation. They said American's inception was a psychological, it's a PSYOP because the whole the American dream ordeal, which is unattainable for most people, is nothing but a psychological operation, meaning that they're playing on the psyche. All right, so it says a psychological operation is a planned effort to influence emotions, perceptions, or behaviors of a target audience. So when you go into this ordeal, this put up this sent shockwaves through Babylon, especially on behalf of Esau, because a so-called black man allegedly murdered a so-called white woman. Okay, and they're trying to push the narrative that our people are violent and they need to be euthanized. All right, because see, they've declared war on you Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, as we've been saying, Jacob's trouble. So all these are narratives that they're going to sway in order to lock our people down and unalive our people. Because when you even go back into, I was kind of reading into Josephus yesterday after Nero died, because you had Antiochus, then you had Nero, and after Nero, I believe he sent, how did it go down? Something with Syria and the Israelites. The Israelites that was in Syria, Nero sent some type of, from what I can remember, Nero, he basically was sending hell upon the Jakes in Syria as well. And after Nero died, then you had the rising of Titus, Vespasian, and Domitian Caesars, which pretty much foiled Jake for what Nero did as far as burning down Rome, which, that wasn't even Israelites, but they blamed it on the Christians. So those type of psychological operations and psyops, or so-called paid agitation, they've been doing that since the time of the Greeks. They've been doing it since the time of the Romans. Okay, it's just a well-worked formula that they constantly play back because the people don't catch on to it at the end of the day. And this is basically what we have here. But it says perceptions or behavior to target an audience, often using propaganda, misinformation, or strategic communication. Governments, military, or other groups typically employ psyops to shape opinions. Okay, hell, the CIA. Hell, Hollywood got a whole department dedicated, or the Pentagon got a whole department dedicated for the CIA and movie scripts, man. So this society is corrupted and is gatekept on all sides when it comes to information. But it says using propaganda, misinformation, or strategic communication. Governments, military, or other groups typically employ psyops to shape opinions, demoralize adversaries, to promote specific agendas without direct physical conflict. And in this case, eventually there will be civil war. It says examples include wartime leaflet drops, social media campaigns, or stage events, like this whole shit with the whole ICE ordeal and, their surrounding ICE vehicles and Trent Niagara and all this other stuff. Those are all staged events to manipulate public opinion. It says the term is widely discussed in contexts like military strategy or conspiracy theories, though its scope and intent vary by situations, okay? So what is a crisis actor or paid agitator? Paid. Bingo. Let's see what she tells us. Come on, man. Let's do it this way. What is a crisis actor? Bingo. So it says a crisis actor is a term often used in conspiracy theories to describe individuals allegedly hired to portray victims, witnesses, or participants in staged events such as mass shootings or terrorist acts to manipulate public perception or advance a political agenda. It says the concept uses or suggests these events are fabricated or exaggerated, with actors playing roles to evoke emotional responses or justify policy changes. It says there's no credible evidence supporting to widespread use of crisis act. That's bullshit, because even sometimes, even they slip up all the time, man. And in certain narratives, they do put that out there. Talking about there's no credible evidence. How the fuck is the Columbine ordeal not credible when you saw that woman that allegedly was one of the victims in 3 different other scenarios? And then allegedly this woman here, she was also part of another event that took place where allegedly she died. Now all of a sudden the bitch is in the United States. Come on, man, unless she got a doppelganger somewhere. This Esau is old, bro. He's the devil. But it says there's no credible evidence supporting widespread use of crisis actors in real-world events. The term largely stems from distrust of official narratives, is debated heavily online. Now, a paid agitator refers to somebody allegedly hired to incite unrest, provoke violence, or disrupt events like protests or rallies to serve a specific agenda. It says this could involve escalating tensions to discredit a movement to create chaos for political gain. Sounds familiar. Historical examples include accusations of infiltrators in protests, though concrete evidence is often sparse and context dependent. But both terms are contentious, frequently appearing in discussions about psychological operations or media manipulation, but they are often dismissed as speculative without verifiable proof, because you control the narrative, barely. All right. So let's go here. This is the book of Job 15, and I'm going to start at verses 34. It says, "For the congregation of hypocrites should be desolate, and fire should consume the tabernacles of the bribely." It says, "They conceive mischief and bring forth vanity, in their belly prepare deceit." You see? So when you have events like this, it's safe to say that it's probably fabricated, or even though people do get hurt and unalived in these situations, nonetheless, it doesn't mean that it isn't a paid event or a staged event. Okay, people get hurt all the time in false flags. Okay, just because it's a false flag doesn't mean the events that transpire is oftentimes false. Because you have mainstream media, which sometimes they give you the rundown. Sometimes they can be transparent, but not a lot. This is why you have alternative media, but you're supposed to still filter out, what you need in order to get the truth out of it. Because mainstream media gonna lie, then you have a lot of disinformation when it comes to these secondary podcasts, or when it comes to these secondary sources of information, like everything Alex Jones or what's this guy's name, Jimmy Dore, everything they say ain't always 100%. Candace Owens, even though she's an investigative journalist, she has an insight. She throw things out there to spin people for loop too, man. Tucker Carlson all paid off. I say, in my humble opinion, and I'm starting to believe she may be set up too, but I think next to Candace Owens will be Whitney Webb, that she has a lot of credible information. And if I get a lot of my information, it would probably be from, listening to Whitney Webb. And there's a couple of other ones out there too. But Whitney Webb, she does her, she does her homework. All right. But nonetheless, the world is a stage. Okay. So this is the book of Psalms 52. And I'm going to start at verses 1. It says, "Why boastest thou thyself in mischief, O mighty man?" It says, "The goodness of the Most High endured continually, but thy tongue devises mischief like a sharp razor working deceitfully." Deceit, because deceit is part of his weaponry. It's part of his sorcery, because, one thing about a warlock or a wizard or a witch, their whole thing is to deceive you by manipulation, to make you believe in that it's the truth, but it's all deceit, And it says here, "Thy love is evil more than good, and lying rather than to speak righteousness. Thou lovest all devouring words, O thou deceitful tongue. But the Most High shall likewise destroy thee forever, and he should take thee away, and pluck thee out of thy dwelling place, and root thee out of the land of the living," right? Because you getting ready to go in slavery, and our land that you confiscated to yourself, we're getting ready to get that back, because it don't belong to you to begin with. Okay. Let's go from here to the book of, damn, I lost my train of thought. Shit, I hate when that happens. Damn, priest, come on, man. I lost my train of thought. It'll come back to me. But anyway, let's go back to the video. It may come back then. So let's go.
Everybody that was on that train did nothing. There's a play going on, y'all. Just hear me out. There's a play. There's too much shit happening at one time. Somebody is trying to kick off martial law. Somebody is trying to lock this country down. Be careful what you ingest. Some of this shit is paid actors. Everybody keeps telling me that it's real. This young lady was stabbed to death on this train. But the shit that was fucking with me, how come none of them women went over and helped her after the dude got off the train? Do they see that shit every day? I mean, what the fuck was that about? That's what makes me feel like those were bought and paid for actors. If he's stabbing her in the neck, I'd see no blood until she fell on the floor.
Okay, got it. Bingo. Isaiah 25 and 7. And it reads, it says, whole chapter is really good, but 7, it says, "And he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast of all people, and the veil that is spread over all the nations." Yeah, that deceit, them lies. It says he will swallow up death in victory, and Yahweh will wipe away tears from all faces, and the rebuke of his people shall he take away from all the earth. From off all the earth, for the Lord have spoken it. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna end it there. Made the point, giving all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Lord's will, you were edified. To the next lesson. Shalom.